I didn't see a lot of Nigerian actors. You have to look within yourself and understand, is this something that I can see myself doing, or is this
Mm.
something I just want to be famous for? Like if your parents were to watch you, even you were to watch yourself, you
Mm.
probably wouldn't feel good about you being seen in
Mm.
that light.
For example, if you're in the acting field, it can help you realize something about acting. If you're in a different field, like say engineering, like it can help you realize something about engineering in that specific sphere. So it doesn't have to be, okay, he's done this specific thing, so I should do the specific thing, or I should think the specific way. It's more so almost like this person has done it this way. I wonder what other ideas it could spark for you in the context of your life as well. Welcome to another episode of Tremor Learns, in which we discuss the intersection of who we are, what we do, and the lessons that we learn along the way. Joining me today is God's Will, a Nigerian American actor based in New York City. Born in Lagos, Nigeria, he moved to Queens, New York over a decade ago and discovered his passion for acting while in college. He began studying computer science before pivoting to informatics with a minor in theater. During that time, he performed in productions such as Clyde's, Rent, and The Taming of the Shrew. Since graduating, he has worked with companies such as Kingsman Shakespeare Company and the Shakespeare Theatre of New Jersey. God's Will is now focused on building his film and television career and hopes to make his first TV appearance within the next year. He's grateful to God, his family, his friends, and his manager for their continued support.
Well, you know me better than myself. Right.
Thank you for joining me
Of
today.
course.
So we have our intro question that we ask every single guest,
Okay.
which is, if this season of life was a classroom, what is it teaching you about being human?
Ooh. I think I'm at the stage in my life right now where I'm understanding that to be human, you have to go through things. You have to have grit. Grit is perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
And, for a long time, it took me a while to understand what that meant because
Mm-hmm.
I thought life should be easy.
Mm-hmm.
But in a business like ours or in life in general,
Mm-hmm.
life is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
Life is not easy. It comes with its own challenges, it comes with its own trials.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now I'm learning to use that to my advantage in a way, not give in, but
Mm-hmm.
also be empathetic towards it and just welcome it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you just step into something, it's going to be a lot easier than, trying to find ways around it. So
So
that's it.
instead of
Grit.
like maybe cutting corners, accepting it for what it is and
Exactly.
saying, what can I learn from
Yeah,
this?
exactly.
What can this teach me
Hmm.
instead of how do I skip this part?
Exactly. Because everything in life has its teachings or its
Mm-hmm.
lessons,
Mm-hmm.
even failure. Failure is its
Mm.
biggest teacher, you know. So, yeah.
That is true. Tell me more about that. Failure being a teacher.
Failure being a teacher. So I mean, I've been failing for as long as I can remember. Being Nigerian, coming from a family where you're expected to, win at everything that you do,
Mm-hmm.
especially in school. I know you're Nigerian, so you probably understand what that feels like.
Oh, I do. I do.
Like if you come home with a B, your dad is gonna be like, "Oh, are you paying the bills? So why don't you have a D?" So from a young age, I understood what failure meant. And
Mm,
so being in this business right now and hearing a majority no,
mm,
like most auditions that you send out, it's no,
mm,
or you never hear back from them.
mm,
And so taking that and being like, okay, this didn't work out. Why didn't it work out?
mm,
What can I learn from that? Is it because of me? Is it because of what I offered to them? Or is it because maybe they just found someone who was a better fit?
mm,
Or maybe in like a few years they'll call me back in a room. So
mm,
not using it as a, because initially when I got into the business, it rejection hit me very hard
mm,
because you're not used to it. You come from a small school where you get all the roles shows and you're the big shot. But then you get into the professional world and it's like you learn very quickly that it's like
Mm,
you're not as good as you think you are. And so just being humble
I
within yourself,
see.
yeah.
So in some ways, it's getting you to expand,
Yeah, exactly.
like being the big fish in a small pond
Very small pond, like
versus.
yeah, versus being the big fish in the big pond, you know.
Mm,
Mm.
okay.
Yeah,
And if it's okay with you, would
of course.
you feel comfortable telling the story of like how we met, like the context of the acting?
Yeah, that's crazy. I think you were my first introduction to acting, actually. Yeah, you were the first
When
role.
you
Yeah,
said that, it actually surprised me
yeah.
because, like, in the audition, I feel like you did so
Oh,
good.
really? Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah, that it
much.
was like, oh,
Yeah, I
huh.
think so. In my sophomore year of college, I was going through a bit of a depression, because
Mm,
computer science was kicking my ass. So it was a very difficult time for me. And so in
mm,
the fall semester, I failed the test. And so I looked within myself. I was like, is computer science really for me?
mm,
And so I was wrestling with that thought and I prayed on it. I asked God for guidance. And
mm,
so someone talked about theater. Like I don't remember who it was, but like I heard it in passing. And I
mm,
was like, huh, what if?
mm.
What if I tried? And so I watched a movie with Denzel over Christmas. Yeah,
Oh,
with Denzel
okay.
Washington. So that'll do it. And so I just watched it and I'm like, could I do that? And
Mm,
so I was like, okay, I'm gonna, email the theater department and see if they have any classes that I can take. And
mm,
so lo and behold, they were like, all right, yeah, we could, put you in our acting one class. We could squeeze you in. Right now it's a little late, but because I was really adamant on it. When I really want something, I'm gonna try to get it. And
mm,
so took the acting class, and then I auditioned for. I saw a notice for Fresh Acts.
mm,
I don't know if you remember Fresh Acts. Yeah,
mhm,
Fresh Acts. And then I saw the plays, and then I was like, I saw the notice. I was like, Sariki. I was like, hold on, is this African? And then I read it, and then I was like, oh my God, what are the chances that the first thing that I'm doing is an
mm,
African play? And so I
mm,
don't know if you know that you had such a big impact on me, like reading that play. If it was a play that I didn't like or that I didn't identify with, I would have
mm.
never continued down theater. Yeah.
Oh my
I would have
god.
never, like, it is making me
Ah,
kind of tear up thinking about it because
oh my
something that
god.
little can set someone on the path. And so I
Oh
auditioned for it.
wow. It's given I need to get back into writing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really
It
what
was it
it's
was such an
given.
amazing play, and it's easy when you have something that's written well. So an
Mm,
actor can act their butts off when they
mm,
have good material that they're working with. So that
mm,
audition was only good because I had something good to read off of.
mm,
If it's a bad written play, then it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be a bad audition. It's gonna be a bad performance. But it was an amazing play.
mm.
you know. So you should get back into writing.
Thank you.
You
Thank
should,
you.
yeah.
I will one of these days. One
Mm.
of these days.
Hold it to that.
And I wrote that play in college, and
hmm
that was during my playwriting class that it came
Okay.
about.
What was your motivation for it, if you don't mind me asking?
Essentially, the
hmm
play was a love story, so
hmm
it was about two characters who were from different tribes and whose family did not want them to be together.
hmm
Essentially, so it's like a Romeo and Juliet
Yeah.
situation happening. And I think in some ways it's reflective of the fact that I feel like growing up, in Nigeria, especially in the school that I went to, there was a lot of disparity in terms
mm.
of the rich kids because I went to a private school. So it was like the rich kids versus the not so rich kids. And the kids who were seen as like really rich were treated significantly different than those who were
mm.
seen as less well to do.
Okay.
And then there was also differences in terms of like religion, and there was also like cliques based on religion. There were cliques based on tribes,
Mm.
and it was kind of like the things that I would hear my parents talk about, especially when we would talk about the Civil War, like the Biafra War. Like I always
Hmm.
wanted to kind of incorporate that to some degree,
Yeah.
because I think that's a war that is really
Forgotten in a way. A lot of people don't remember it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to incorporate that, but I also didn't want something that reinforced tribalism. So I was like, how do I do that?
Especially
Um,
for Americans to
yes,
understand. Yeah.
yes.
And you did a
So
beautiful job. Yeah.
thank you, thank
Of
you.
course.
I might look at that. I've not looked at that play in a minute,
Yeah,
and this
I'm
is
like,
making me want to like
yeah,
reread it.
you can also like make it longer. I think it's a
True.
play that can actually, go
Yeah.
somewhere if you really take time with
Mm.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Mhm.
you. Um. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah. We kind of got sidetracked
Yeah, it's
there,
okay.
but
That's it's human.
so we have this segment of the podcast called
Okay.
The Learning Curve. We have our first question. This person says, "Hi Choma, acting started as something that made me feel alive. But lately, because I'm trying to turn it into a career, it feels heavier. Like
Mm.
every audition carries the weight of proving something. Sometimes I miss the joy I felt when I first started performing. How do you protect your passion from becoming just another source of pressure?"
Ooh, that I'm going through that myself, so I'm still trying to learn that. But I think one of the biggest pieces of advice that I got, early on in my career
Mhm.
was that you have to remember that you are enough.
Mm,
So, any room that you walk into,
mhm,
you're not walking into that room to prove yourself. You're walking
mm,
into that room to share what you've been working on. you
mm,
know, so it's like if you walk into that room, trying to prove what you have or like get them to like you, they're gonna read that. And so
mm,
protect your sanity. Do things every day that don't have to be necessarily acting, but go develop a hobby, go play some music, go, play basketball, live life,
mm,
travel,
mm,
because all of those things make you a better actor.
mhm,
An
mhm,
actor who's able to speak different languages, an actor who's able to be empathetic towards different sorts of people. All of that,
mm,
all of those things are so immensely important to art,
mhm,
as you know it. And so I would just say, just have fun with life. Don't let
mm,
acting take up all of your time, but also
mm,
remember that you are enough. You
mm,
are enough. That's something that I say every day to myself. You are
mm.
enough.
Thank
Yeah,
you for sharing.
of course. Yeah.
I think that's really, really good feedback because in some ways it can feel all consuming. And as you mentioned earlier,
Hmm.
when you're getting that repetition of no, it can have that, it can really take away the
Yeah,
joy
exactly.
and the excitement that comes from that reinforcement of like, I am good at this. But when
Yeah.
you're repeatedly getting no, it can make a person question.
Hmm. Exactly. That's why you have to keep it in the back of your mind that it's gonna pass. It's
Mm,
okay. It happens, and
mm,
everything will be okay. It's not the end of the world. I
mm.
promise it is not.
It is not the
Yeah,
end of
it's not the end of the world.
And something else that I wanted to add to something that you just expressed
Of course.
is the process. That
Hmm.
seems to be a common theme in what you're expressing.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes there's how do I say this? There is an expectation. Hmm. Like I'm thinking about all the like hardships that I've had
Mm.
or um oh wow.
Or things you've been
So
through.
many
Yeah,
realizations are like hitting me right
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And when you're in the thick of it, like I've mentioned this before in terms of like how I came to my career like as a therapist, like it was
Hmm.
very impromptu. It was a similar
Yeah,
path
yeah, yeah.
actually.
Okay.
That's a oh my gosh, so many real I'm like, which one should I focus on? Because that's a common theme that I'm noticing within the guests that I've had is that
Hmm.
theme of almost like randomness. There's a word for
Mm.
it. It's not coming. There's a psychology term.
Spontaneity, is that it?
Happenstance, I
Mm,
believe is the word along those lines. But
okay.
the idea is not living life by like a textbook, but kind of like going with the flow, and like you get the answer by the process as opposed to by following a very structured path.
Exactly. Because if I could touch on that,
Mhm.
people come into this profession from all walks of life.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you know Adam Driver. He played Kylo Ren in the Star Wars.
Mhm.
Yeah. He oh, I don't know, you don't know him?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know celebrities
All
like
right, no
that.
worries. Yeah, he was a Marine first,
Oh
and then he was a
wow.
Marine, and then he applied to Juilliard drama, and
Hmm.
he got into Juilliard, and now he's an A-list actor.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
and then you have Denzel, who grew up in Mount Vernon, in the
Hmm.
hood.
Hmm.
He got sent to military school, came out,
Hmm.
auditioned for American Conservatory Theater, got in, and I don't know if you know about this about Denzel, but he was not a good student. He almost
Hmm.
failed out of Fordham University
Hmm.
until he found theater. And so so all of this is just to say,
Hmm.
like everyone has such different paths.
Hmm.
And so and the people who usually quote unquote make it kind of stumble upon it. It's not something that they
Hmm.
try to attack from a young age. It's something that they kind of
Hmm.
stumble on. It makes
That
them
is
feel
true.
good, you know. They derive pleasure from it. They derive a sort of passion for it.
Hmm.
And you can't get that by just you know from a young age saying I want to do this and going to school and yeah.
Hmm. And another theme that I'm noticing here, kind of the story you mentioned about Denzel and also
Hmm.
yourself, was that element of struggling in something or maybe not being
Hmm.
good to the extent that you would like in another area.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of like how different people have different strengths. And if
Hmm.
you compare, like if stuck with computer science and you kept comparing yourself to maybe the people who were getting the A
Hmm.
plus 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 in computer science, in some
Yeah,
ways you wouldn't discover this other intelligence that you have.
exactly.
You wouldn't explore this other because there's so many forms of intelligence out there, and
Hmm.
I feel like our society praises a very specific kind of intelligence,
Yeah.
and people can then get stuck in that loop, and sometimes it prevents us from exploring other forms of intelligence that we can actually excel in.
Yeah, from a young age I was like I'm gonna do software development, I'm gonna be an
Mm.
engineer, I'm gonna make my parents proud. But I think sitting in the classes for 2 hours at a time, and you're just sitting there like, what am I doing right now?
Hmm.
I think having that, being exposed to that, just taught me what if there's other paths of life? What
Hmm.
if there's something else I can explore about myself? Because I was a very, studious person,
Hmm.
And then when I took that acting class, I was around these people who had blue hair and like who like like all different, races and genders and I was like, what am I doing here? But then it just teaches you to love humanity as a whole.
Mm.
It teaches you to be empathetic. It teaches you to
Mhm.
be okay with people being different. And I would have
Mm.
never found that out if I didn't pursue theater. And
Mm.
I'm a man of faith.
Mm.
I'm very big on God. God is
Mm.
everything to me. And so
Mhm.
I think it was a redirection
Mm.
and not like a rejection from, computer
Mm.
science. I think he was
Mm.
just redirecting me to what he thinks, is best for me.
Mm. Thank you for sharing.
Of
So we
course.
have this next scenario. This person says, "Hi, Choma. I sometimes feel like when I succeed, it's not just about me. It's
Mm.
about representing Nigerians and people who rarely see themselves in certain spaces. That responsibility can feel motivating, but also heavy. How do you carry that sense of representation without letting it become overwhelming?"
Mhm. Well, I'm gonna get teary eyed for this one, but um, I think coming into the business, I didn't see a lot of Africans, in my space, especially in my
Mm.
acting class. I was the only African, and
Mm.
so I would hear all these people speak, and so I would look at them, and I'm like, I don't sound like that,
Mm.
I have a little accent,
Mhm.
and so I kind of got self conscious about it.
You
because yeah,
did?
I did.
Oh wow, that's
It's
interesting.
because it's hard not to when you hear everyone sounding the same way and then you sound different,
Mm,
you know. So it I took it and I was like, I'm never gonna make it in this, you know. Everyone
mm,
sounds, you know, American, and like who's gonna, you know, hire a Nigerian, you know, with a
mm,
thick accent. And so it wasn't until I started doing Shakespeare that
mm,
I was able to understand that your voice is an instrument. No
mhm,
matter how you sound, which accent you have, Shakespeare is something that can be
mm,
used anywhere. Whether you're Mexican, whether you're Argentinian,
mm,
Shakespeare translates everywhere. You know,
mm,
and so my acting teacher was like, his name is Ryan Garbayo. Shout out to Ryan. He was like, Godswill, you have such an amazing voice.
mm,
Why would you not want people to hear that? Why would you want to be American?
mm,
There's already enough of us.
mm,
And so I took that and I was like, yeah, like my voice is so unique.
mm,
Like you're not going to get someone that sounds like me. Every human being is so unique and
mm,
different. And so the only way, in my opinion, to stand out in this industry is to be yourself
mm.
in a way. There's this actor called Digimon Hunsu. I don't know if you know him. He's African. He's like the really dark African guy with his bald. He
I
has
don't
like a
know
goatee. No, you
names.
don't know
I
names.
really,
Oh man! And
I
he's such
probably
a
know his
yeah.
face,
You
but
know his
not his.
face 100%.
Yeah.
But like he has also he's from Benin, I think.
Mm,
But he has a very thick accent as well, and he is the first guy Hollywood calls when they want an African in a movie.
mm,
And so he was able to use that and build such an illustrious career from it.
mm,
So I would say, to answer your question, I went on a tangent. It's to find what makes you different and lean into it.
mm,
Find what makes you different, lean into it, and understand that it's it's gonna be hard. It's gonna
mm,
be hard to get accustomed to it, for people to get accustomed to you, because it's not what they're used to. But
mm,
the arts are changing, and you have men doing women roles now. You have women doing male roles now. You have so many black people doing, you know, roles that were traditionally for white people.
mhm,
And so this is the best time in history for you to be different in a way.
mm,
It's the best time, you know. And so yeah, just keep that part of yourself inside you. Know that, you know, someone is gonna love you out there for it.
mm.
And always, 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 Naija know they carry less. I say it everywhere. In every rehearsal room, they know that, you know, I'm very big on Nigeria. I'm very big on African culture. If I were
Mm,
ever to go to an opening night, I would be wearing my daishiki or my
mm,
agbada, you know.
mm,
So yeah, just lean into what makes you different. Yeah, that's my piece of advice for
mm.
you. Yeah.
I love that. It
Yeah.
reminds me of the guy. Again, I don't know names, but he's a basketball player, I think,
Mm.
that wears like the traditional like Ghanaian attire, like in games.
Oh, I think I know who you talk. Is it
I would
Joel and oh, you
I
wouldn't know.
wouldn't
You
know
wouldn't know.
the I just know
I
the
was like
face.
she was like no.
Even if you said it, I
Okay,
wouldn't.
okay, okay.
Yeah, it's really I really really love those photos. One
Hmm.
because he's a very handsome man,
Oh,
but
okay, all right.
also because I feel like the representation
Hmm.
I think is really really nice
Yeah,
to
and
see.
there's always like a little kid out there watching you, like, oh my God, I
Mm,
want to be him one day, or I want to be her one day. You know, how
mm,
do they represent themselves? And you
mm.
never know, a kid might be looking at you and
No
following in
pressure,
your
no
footsteps.
pressure.
No pressure.
And we
Yeah.
have our final learning curve question. This
Uh-huh.
person says, "Hi Choma, I'm at the stage where I would like to build a serious career in acting, and that can mean unpredictable schedules and financial uncertainty.
Mhm.
I sometimes wonder if it's fair to pursue a long term relationship while my life still feels so up in the air. How do you balance building a future with someone when your own path is still unfolding?"
Building a future like a relationship.
Hmm.
Okay. Ooh, I'm so young to be answering this, but but I understand. Acting is a very uncertain profession, as you know.
Is that as you
Yeah,
know?
as you know, art in general is
Mm,
very, very difficult. But I think something. This is going to sound a little harsh,
mm,
but sometimes you need like a little waking up call.
mm.
One of my mentors told me, if you can envision yourself doing anything else other than acting, do that. Because
Interesting.
because
Huh.
it's such a cutthroat business,
Mm,
and a lot of people, you see the red carpets and you see the people that make it after, they've gone through that rough patch.
mm,
And a lot of people don't know that to get to that point, you have to go through a lot of trials, a
mm,
lot of no's, a lot of nights at home when you're crying yourself,
mm,
uncertainty. Recently I was talking to a girl, and she was like, "Hey, I don't see this continuing because
mm,
I need something a little bit more stable," which
mm,
is fine. I more kudos to her. More power to her. But it
mm,
just goes to show you how, like, what you're gonna have to deal with. And I would be crazy if I sat here and was like, "Oh no, it's all peaches and cream. It's all
mm.
amazing." But it isn't. But all that to say, not to discourage you, not to discourage you. It's just to give you a glimpse into what like life behind the scenes is. And
Mm,
so you have to look within yourself and understand, is this something that I can see myself doing, or is this
mm,
something I just want to be famous for? Because if it's
mm,
fame that you're looking for, you're going to be very sorely mistaken.
mm,
And you're going to understand that very quickly, that it's very difficult to become famous.
mm.
I think there's a statistic that says there's 1% of actors who make over $50,000 a year. Yeah, and
Oh
that's
wow.
that's a true statistic, and it's
Oh
probably
wow.
lower. And so that just goes to show you, like, if you really want to
Mm,
make a career out of this,
mm-hmm,
you really have to work at it. You have to
mm,
like tune all the noise out. You have to believe in
mm,
yourself, and you have to go hard at it because no one else is gonna go hard for you.
mm,
Yeah, that's my advice. Is just
mm,
to internalize it and just keep at it. If it's really what you want, if it's really what you want, if it's not
mm,
what you want, or if you're a little bit finicky about it, then
mm,
find something else. But if you know within yourself that, okay, I want to give this a shot, do it. I
mm,
mean, especially if you're young, you're not going to be young twice.
mm,
So these are the years in our life where we get to fail and to get redirection and find
mm,
what we love,
mm-hmm,
because you only get to be young once. YOLO, like Drake said. You only live once.
mm-hmm. And okay, so that kind of wraps up our learning segment.
Of course. All right.
So I'm curious for this next section. Something that you've talked about quite often is the
Hmm.
intersection of like fate as well as uncertainty.
Yeah.
So in what ways do you think your fate has shaped how you navigate the industry?
Mm. Well, to begin, every time I get a role, I think to myself, is this something God would want me to do? Like, is this
Hmm.
something I want to be seen for? You
Hmm.
know, because there's certain roles like you look at that you like, if your parents were to watch you, or like if like your pastor at church were to watch you, or like even you were to watch yourself, you
Hmm.
probably wouldn't feel good about you being seen in
Hmm.
that light. And
Hmm.
so there's certain roles that I probably am not taking on, and I've told my manager that, I've told the agent that I've been with that
Hmm.
there's certain roles that I just want to avoid, just
Hmm.
because I'm not going to be comfortable in it.
Hmm.
And so people are going to tell that I'm not comfortable in it. And so
Hmm.
I want to give it to someone who's a little bit more comfortable than I am. And so faith is so, so big to me. Before every performance, after every performance, before every audition, after every audition, I pray. I
For
pray. I really
mm,
do. I pray. Today, I got the audition in the morning, and I was like, "Thank God," because it's so hard
mm,
to even get an audition.
mm,
So it's like I think it's God looking out for me. I
mm,
am so deeply, deeply, deeply humbled and grateful for the opportunities that He's given me. because to come from a small school in theater
Mhm.
and within your first year to do your first professional job,
Mhm.
get a manager, all of these different things working in your favor,
Mhm.
it's nothing other than God. I shouldn't be where I am right now, if it
Mhm.
wasn't for God. Because there's people that graduated the same year as me who are still struggling, just to find their footing. And
Mhm.
it's not to knock them or anything like that. It's just to say like the only person in my camp who I know is working for me a hundred
Mhm.
percent is God, you
Mhm.
know. And so I want to do right by him, and all the roles that I take on, hopefully I'm, you know, taking what he taught me and seeing what I see in the Bible, and someone can look at me and be like, I want to be like him.
Mhm.
I think that's the number one thing is I want to be a role model for people.
Mhm.
And if I'm not doing that, then I mean, why am I really doing it? You know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That sounds really profound and very
Hmm.
beautiful. It sounds like your values is really important for you and making sure that you're being intentional of like, yes, I'm passionate about this,
Hmm.
profession. At the same time, it can get blurry, in
Yeah,
terms
very
of show
quickly.
business in
Yeah. And
general.
a lot of people lose themselves in it,
Mhm.
because they're aiming to be famous.
Mm.
My goal is not fame.
Mm.
I'm not trying to be famous. I just want to make a living. I want to be one of the 1% who can earn 50,000
Mm.
and start a family and whatnot. So my goal is not fame. If you want to be famous, there's so many opportunities that you can take, but it
Mm.
probably wouldn't align with your faith, you know.
Mm.
If I wasn't a man of God or if I didn't believe in God, I would have probably been famous right now.
Mm.
You never know. I would because some of the roles that I've gotten auditions for and I've said no to is
Mm.
like it's a lot of them. And
Mm.
so yeah, sometimes I find myself like, damn, should I have? But
Mm.
then you have to ground yourself and realize everything happens for a reason, and God is just finding out what's right for you. You know?
Mm. Mm. It's really beautiful.
Yeah,
That's very profound. Um, that's very, very
yeah.
profound.
Thank you. Feel like Socrates.
When it comes to faith, has there
uh,
been times maybe where it wavered in the context of your career as an actor so
yeah,
far?
every day,
Mm.
every day you find yourself. There's days where I cry. You
Mm.
know, cry at home when when I don't book something that I was close to booking. It's like,
Mm.
why am I doing all this, God? Like, please, like I need you to like, step in and do this for me. And I just keep asking and asking and asking, and not realizing that
Mhm.
it's shaping me to become the artist that I want to be in the future.
Mhm.
All of it is shaping me. All the no's, all the redirections. It's God shaping me to be a man of grit, a man
Mm.
of persistence, a man of integrity, which
Mm.
are all things that you need in Hollywood,
Mm.
because it's a very very
Slippery slope.
slippery slope. It's
Mhm.
a interesting place.
Mhm.
And so some actors who I look at, who have maintained their sort of integrity. Denzel is someone who advocates for God
Mm.
every like time and time again.
He's come up a
Yeah,
couple times. It seems like he's one of the
yeah,
people that you look up to, like, in
yeah,
the acting
yeah. He is
industry.
because he's such a good man.
Mm.
He's one of those men that you can just look at and know
Mm.
he's a great guy. He's a someone you can look at, and not just for his career and the things that he's built, but the words he speaks and how eloquently he
Mm.
speaks and how he
Mm.
impacts the people around him. He
Mm.
has a career that I really really adore. Michael
Mm.
B. Jordan is another one.
Mm.
Aaron Pierre is another one that's up and coming that I really really adore.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's very, very
Of
beautiful.
course, yes.
Also, if you're enjoying the episode so far, make sure you subscribe and follow Trauma Learns on all platforms. I want to make this a space where we can learn and figure this thing called life together.
Yes.
So we have another question actually about your pivoting.
Mm,
Pivoting paths can be scary, especially when you've invested a lot of time into something.
mhm.
What gave you the courage to move from computer science to the arts?
Ooh, what gave me the courage? I think it's just understanding that I wasn't in the right space of mind with where I
Mm,
was at the moment. I think
mm,
computer science was bringing out a very dark part of me that I didn't want, to go
mm,
down the rabbit hole of. I was crying, I was having thoughts of inadequacy and, all
mm,
these dark feelings. And so I wanted some kind of light,
mm,
in that dark spot in my life. And so theater offered that for me. I was like, if I
mm,
can fool around in the class with all these different people,
mhm,
I was smiling, I was laughing, I was having
mm,
joy, which is
mm,
what life is all about. You don't want to, be working a job that you hate,
mm,
and so that's what gave me the courage. I was just very, very, very depressed. And so
mm,
theater just offered, a lighter, a lighter pivot for me. And
mm,
so I took it. And thank God I did. Yeah.
mm.
Mm.
It's funny that you say that because when I think of you, I think of that light or like
Oh,
the person
really?
who's always smiling.
Yeah.
And it seems that like from the point on that I knew you, which was like in the acting
Hmm.
sphere, you're saying
That's when, yeah,
that's
that's when
so
it kind of came. Yeah,
interesting.
you didn't want to see me like that semester before. I was like in my room all day. I was, yeah.
Mm,
So
yeah.
theater, reading your play and acting it out, all that
Mm,
was just. I was like, oh my god, I got rehearsal today. Woo! I'm so hyped. You saw me. I was, the first one at rehearsal. I was, I
mhm,
was getting to it. And so, when you find something that, and this is a
mm,
little piece of advice, when you find something that doesn't feel like work,
mm,
something that brings out the child in you,
mm.
I think that's how you know you're doing something. Yeah.
Okay, okay. What you just said,
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of this podcast, honestly.
Hmm.
Because I have a lot of things going
Yeah.
on, and though it's involves like a lot of pieces that I have to figure out.
Hmm.
I've also noticed that in the moment, like when I'm shooting, when I'm asking these questions, when I'm like
Hmm.
learning from other
Yeah.
people, because I think different people have different information
Hmm.
like based on like your professional life and based on your personal specific life experiences like
Yeah.
everyone is like a universe of like so much information. It's not always accurate information,
Yeah.
but like it's good information that could be really helpful, especially when you're talking about lessons like life
Hmm.
lessons.
Yeah.
And so I'm very intrigued to always like
Hmm.
hear
To
what
hear,
people
yeah,
have
what
to
people have to
say
say.
because
I have barely lived life, and
mm,
so the pieces of advice take with a grain of salt. It's just what
mm,
I've been through myself. It's
mhm,
just what's helped me through it. Um,
mhm.
but everyone's journey is different. Everyone has a different path that they have to walk.
Yeah, I agree in terms of taking things from a grain of salt. And
Hmm.
also another way to reframe that is also in terms of like the different lessons, for example, the one that our guest today is sharing. For example, if you're in the acting field, it can help you realize something about acting. If you're in a different field, like say engineering, like it
Hmm.
can help you realize something about engineering in that
Hmm.
specific sphere. So it doesn't have to be, okay, he's done this specific thing, so I should do the
Hmm.
specific thing, or I should think the specific way. It's more so almost like this person has done it this
Hmm.
way. I wonder what other ideas it could spark for you in the context of your life as
Yeah.
well. Um,
Yeah, you can learn from everybody.
Mhm. Mhm. That is very
Hmm.
true. That is very, very true. So we have another question.
Ooh, okay.
Theater and film both rely on strong storytelling and acting,
Hmm.
but they also are very different mediums. How do you decide which one to focus on when building your career?
Between like stage and film and TV.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I'm a big believer in the fact that the best foundation for you as an actor to have is through stage.
Mm,
Um, if it's how it's always been done, stage, you have to
mm,
command an audience's attention for 2 to 3 hours
mhm,
without any cuts, without any makeup, without any
mhm,
someone telling you your line. You have to go for 2 hours and 30 minutes to 3 hours saying lines, having to be funny, having to be sad, all these different emotions,
charismatic.
charismatic.
Mhm.
And with film and TV, it's a lot. Well, I'm not going to say easier, but it's different.
Mm.
because you have so many people working for you. You have a
Mm.
costume designer, you have someone off screen, feeding you your lines. Sometimes you have someone who helps you with your accent,
Mm.
and you have the director. You have all these people, the cinematographer, the
Mm.
first AD, all these people working to make sure you give the performance of your life
Mm.
in film and TV.
Mm.
Whereas stage, you're kind of just out there naked. And
Mm.
so I think it's the best foundation for an actor to have because it kind of teaches you what you need to do to hook an audience and
Mm.
what what's real and what's not real. You can't learn that through a camera. You have to learn it through organic experiences with the crowd. Does the
Mm.
crowd laugh at this? What makes the crowd laugh?
Mm.
What makes the crowd cry? Do I
Mm.
have to say this a certain way this night? Okay, the next night I'll do this differently. And
Mm.
so there's so many times for you to fail.
Mhm.
And I think that's what theater offers you is the
Mhm.
chance to fail. And
Mm.
so with that, you take that and then you implement it into film and TV because you've already had those experiences where you
Mm.
failed so you learn what works for you. All the great actors, Meryl Streep, Denzel, even the ones that I just named, Damson Idris, Aaron Pierre, all of them came from theater,
Mm.
built up that muscle. And so now
Mm.
on TV, it's so simple
Mm.
because they've already had those experiences. Yeah.
That's a really, really good point.
Yeah,
I have a follow-up question to that,
of
but
course.
something that I wanted to say was it kind of reminds me, like when I was acting as
Hmm.
well, was the idea of like the different reactions you get based on the night. Like
Hmm.
I forgot about that till
Yeah.
you just said it. Like some nights you say a particular line and the audience reacts to it, and then
Yeah,
the
yeah,
next line, the same the
yeah.
next night, like they might not react to that same line.
Yeah.
Um,
I had an experience with that in the last show that I did, Romeo and Juliet.
mhm,
I had the first lines of the show. And so I was working with this director who directed all these celebrities. And so I was so humbled to be working with her. And so one of these nights, I said my line, and the person that was opposite me was like, after we got off the stage, he was like, "Damn, we didn't get any reactions."
mm,
So no one laughed, no one heard a peep. And
mm,
so the next night, said the line again, and then the audience just started dying. Like,
mm,
and so it just goes to show you everyone is so different. Everyone
mm,
interprets art differently.
mm,
Because say you have, you get an audition for a film project, and the film project is, like a teen drama.
mm,
You're not gonna do the same thing that you did in Shakespeare.
mhm,
With theater, it already recalibrates you to know how to speak to people and speak to an audience. And if they're not responding to you, to say it differently and to
mm,
engage with them. And maybe if an audience member says something that, kind of like, you're like, whoa, why did you just say that in the middle of my line? Kind of tune it out and just focus on your scene partner.
mm,
And stage teaches you
mm,
intense focus. Because if you lie on the stage, if you don't believe what you're saying on the stage, the audience can smell that.
mm,
So you literally are naked out there.
mm,
So it teaches you to believe in exactly what you're saying to
mm,
command their attention for 2 hours
mm,
at a time.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So,
remembering some of the performances.
mhm.
A cooking play, like a chef.
Clyde's?
I think so.
Clyde's? Oh, the one I was in?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
I felt like you did a good job like commanding the
Hmm.
crowds. And it was very like I feel like the people around reacted very positively.
Hmm. Oh wow! Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I didn't. Yeah, that play. That was my first play actually. That was my
Mm.
first
Like
full
full
length.
length.
Yeah, non-musical play.
Mm.
But with Clyde's, I knew like I had to. Like the director told me, "Godzo, you can do this," and I
Mm.
knew like I was the person that the audience was going to be watching for a
Mm.
long portion of the play, and
Mhm.
I had the largest chunks of dialogue, and so I really took
Mm.
it upon myself to see what
Yeah.
sticks.
Do you ever worry about being boxed into certain kinds of roles, especially as it relates to identity?
Hmm.
And how do you navigate that whilst you wanting to represent your culture authentically?
Mm. So I just literally like a few days ago had a meeting with my manager about this to
Mhm.
talk about what lanes he sees me in, or like what kind of acting types
Mhm.
he sees me going after. Because some people have said this, but I don't look how I sound.
Mhm.
Which I don't know what that means, but I just wanted to get clarification from him. And so
Mhm.
he looked at me and he was like, God's will, I don't give a damn about acting types.
Mhm. I like your
Focus.
manager. He seems like a cool
It
person.
does. It's, because usually a manager would tell you, "Oh,
Yes.
you're the nerdy
Yes.
kind,"
It's
or like,
very like
"Yeah, very
regimented.
regimented."
Yeah.
But he says, "You can do anything that you put your mind to, as long as you just show it."
Mm.
And I took that and I was like, "Yeah, what separated me from playing a 16-year-old high school jock, you
Mhm.
know." It usually goes to the white kids, but but what's stopping me from doing that? There's
Mm.
nothing stopping me. And so I take it upon myself to do work that doesn't put me in a box. And so I've
Mm.
been trying to avoid like the stereotypes,
Mm.
the thug number two and the so
My
those kind
mind
of
didn't
roles,
even
yeah.
go there.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So those kind of roles that are typically given to black men and men of color.
Mhm.
So I try my hardest to play men of intellect and men who are,
Mm.
so Shakespeare. So
Mm.
Shakespeare, I really wanted to dive into Shakespeare because not a lot of black men do Shakespeare. Not a
Mm.
lot of black men understand it, and not a lot of black men love it. And
Mm.
so I took it upon myself to really, really, really get to the nitty gritty of Shakespeare and just to be a
Mm.
beacon for other black men coming up that you can do Shakespeare.
Mm.
And so I had this one kid at the school that I went to, and he reached out to me a few weeks ago, and he was like, "God's will, we're all watching you from over here, and I love what you're doing." And he asked me
Mm.
because he's doing a Shakespeare play in school right now
Mhm. At
called,
the school that we
yeah,
went to?
yes,
Oh.
yeah, he's doing a Shakespeare play there
Oh.
called A Midsummer Night's Dream. Yeah.
Oh.
So he was asking me for advice on it. And
Mm.
so I found myself like deeply touched because
Mhm.
I didn't have anyone to ask when I first started Shakespeare.
Mm.
And so having someone ask me for advice on it just goes to show you that you can't put yourself in a box. There's
Mm.
so many people that depend on you.
Mm.
So many people that depend on you, and you have to be a guiding light for them,
Mm.
in a way. And so I try my hardest to make sure I don't, go down the stereotypical route.
Mm.
All the roles that I've picked, all the roles that like I played a blind man, a blind boy from Long Island. It was
Mm.
this one play, forgot what the name of it was, but I was supposed to be blind. The director was like, God's will,
Mhm.
I want you for this role because, and I want to show people that black men are more. And
Mm.
so when I heard the director say that to me, I was like deeply moved. And so I
Mm.
took it upon myself to be like, yes, I want to play a blind guy. I want to play someone who has a limp. I want to play all these
Mm.
different roles that aren't given to people of color
Mm.
typically. Yeah. And so I think I've been, holding my own at it.
Mm.
And hopefully for the next several years of my career, I can play roles that, kind of test me and challenge me and, don't put me down a certain path.
Mm.
Yeah.
We need more of that. We
Hmm.
need more representation.
Yeah.
It really does matter. And something that you said that kind of reminds me of something that I watched like on YouTube a while ago,
Hmm.
and it really stuck with me. I don't remember the face of the YouTuber, but the message was sometimes you have to go first because some people are going to watch you and need information that you have. So
Hmm.
it's kind of sad and it sucks that you wouldn't have this information and how to navigate this or how to navigate that.
Hmm.
At the same time, there are people who are, for example, there's been a lot of people that have kind of asked me about my experience when it comes to being a therapist, like a lot of
Mm.
black people, people of color,
Oh, that's great.
and being able to kind of offer insight of like, there's this scholarship, but there is that
Hmm.
scholarship that you can apply to, or you can try this, or you can try that. I think has been
Hmm.
very like wonderful in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing that you went down therapy because there's not a lot of like, therapists who are people of color.
Mhm,
And so if I were to walk into a room and see someone that looks like me, I
mhm,
think it would really mean a lot
mhm,
because you have someone who has sort of like similar experiences and you
mhm,
don't have to sit across from someone who has no idea what you went
mhm.
through. And so for a
Yeah.
person of color, like having you and like the way you're talking to me right now is just like
Mhm,
a nod in your head. That
mhm.
I feel like someone I feel like people would be so great, like so feel so good to have you as their therapist.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank
So yeah.
you. But in terms of how I got into therapy, I've always had like really, really, really wonderful like English or like art or like theater
Hmm.
creative writing teachers.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will say my first therapy experience, again, she was wonderful, but I didn't really feel connected to my first couple of therapists. I think it took some like trial and error to then
Hmm.
have a clinician who I felt like connected
Hmm.
to. So I think it's okay if the first person is not,
Not the best. Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
and it's sometimes it's not so much about not the best. Sometimes it's just like a matter of fit.
Mm.
Like sometimes like different people bring out different things in you, and sometimes that person is just not a good fit.
Okay, because I've been to therapy once in
Mhm,
my life at school as well,
mhm,
and she was great. But I think it was just like you said, fit. I think she didn't really like understand,
mhm,
some of the social and like because I talked a lot about being African and like the things
mhm,
that being African has being from an African family has taught me and what I've experienced from it, and
mhm.
she was kind of like, sure. And
I
then
see, I
yeah,
see.
so
Was
I
she
think
black?
no, she was no, she
Okay,
wasn't.
because there was a black therapist. I'm not gonna say her name,
Yeah.
but I feel like most of my friends that also saw a therapist that was a black person, like almost every single one of us saw that
Oh, that
specific
specific
person.
one.
It's like all of us went to her. I don't know if
Uh
she was okay because this was like during
so
COVID.
much trauma
Yeah, and it's
dropped
like
at
all the
once.
black kids are like,
Yeah.
girl, I really like now thinking from a therapist's perspective as someone who's in the profession, like I'm kind of worried about. I think she was really burnt
Hmm.
out, honestly, because she was really wonderful, and then somewhere along the lines, I think it kind of got to her.
Okay. Does it
Yeah.
get to you at some point? I don't know if you've had any clients yet.
I think that there's so many variations of it getting to me of like what that could look like. But there's definitely like vicarious trauma, which is like when it's like the trauma that therapists get from listening to trauma, essentially.
Okay.
And I think sometimes there is definitely elements of those. And I think this is where like supervision comes in and thinking about a particular job that I'm in, I have a really, really, really wonderful supervisor.
Mm.
She's a black woman. I don't play with her. Like I feel very seen. I feel heard. I feel understood by her.
Hmm.
And so I think having a really wonderful supervisor that I feel really connected to, and I think part of that connection is based on our shared life experience too.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we would be as like interlocked if it wasn't for the ways I feel like she sees me and I see her as well.
Oh, kind of like a.
Yeah.
All right.
But we've been working together for like a year now. So I think it also took time for us to get to this place of, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she's
All right.
wonderful. I love her so much. um, but yes, we have our final question.
Okay.
This is our wrap up question that we ask every single guest. And the
Hmm.
question is, what's an unpopular lesson your journey of life? So this can be in your professional life or in your personal life. What's an unpopular lesson that this thing called life has taught you?
An unpopular one. Okay. I think there's just one quote I heard from Bill Gates, and I think it's very true. I think it's life isn't fair. Get used to
Mm,
it. And I think that's something that kind of encompasses everything that we talked about today.
mm-hmm,
I think it's find what you love. If you can make money from it, then great. But if not, pivot into something else
mm,
because life is ever moving. Life doesn't wait for anyone, and you're not entitled to anything from life.
Mm,
There's people that are in worse circumstances than you that, make it out and that, are
mhm,
successful and that build a career for themselves and build a life for themselves.
mhm,
And so understand within yourself, everyone is going through life in separate ways.
mm,
It's not fair. It doesn't have to be fair, but what you do with that information is what what you do with that information is what separates you from someone who wins and who's someone who doesn't.
mm,
You know, and I think that kind of encompasses everything we talked about today.
mm,
Life isn't fair. Get used to
mm.
it. What do you think about that quote?
I think it's true. It doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good.
It
Yeah,
doesn't.
it's
It makes me.
unpopular. Yeah,
Yeah. It makes me feel like because
yeah.
I'm someone who like I'm an idealist.
Mm,
So I'm someone who I'm very realistic, but I'm also an idealist, and
yeah.
so
But
the
it works for.
idealist
Yeah, yeah,
version of
yeah.
myself is kind of like that. Realist is like, yeah, that's true,
Mm-hmm.
and then the idealist is like, but it shouldn't be that way. So I think those two
Yeah,
versions of myself is
or
like,
like fighting with each other right now in your
yeah,
head.
yeah. But that,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Thank you so, so,
Of
so, so
course. Yeah.
much for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I've genuinely, genuinely enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
this interview.
Yeah.
And we hope that, you were able to gain some like really valuable lessons in what our wonderful guests discussed today.
Mm-hmm.
And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Thank you.